And
Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
And there we are. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Comic Shop Talk, live, brought to you by Black Cat Comics in Rockin, Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. We're here to keep you connected to the comic book community. I'm Mark.
I'm Francie.
And today we're going to talk some new comics. We're going to talk Marvel's big return to a regular publishing schedule this week and mostly next week. Going to talk a little Free Comic Day summer, and going to talk one of my favorite things, the Black Cat Comics Rockin Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. Our annual, lots of fun week-long event. And yes, we're doing it this year. Of course, we got to shake up some of the details, but we're bringing it to you anyway because it's tons of fun.
It is tons of fun.
A little more on that later. So last week
Michael
was Independent Comics-O-Rama. Talked a lot about, for the 4th.
Independence Day.
And because there was just a lot of good indies out last week and not much from the big two. This week, going to get to back to a bit of the big two. Big Batman week. Big Bat week this week. So we're going to talk a little of that. Going to talk
lots of bats.
Like I say, a little bit return to the mainstream. Marvel getting their gears back going. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? You want me to start?
You start.
I'm going to talk about this one first of all. This is Empire Fantastic Four. Everybody knows I'm a big Marvel person. Everybody knows I'm a big Fantastic Four person. Love the FF. Love what's going on in the FF currently. And I love anything with a Jim Cheung cover. Jim Cheung, love your stuff. Great stuff. So this is the 4th Empire offering after...
It's a one-shot, too.
Incoming was one that we got, this big old giant size. Yeah, seems like last year, doesn't it? Road to Empire came shortly after that, little Kree scroll action. Then last week, or maybe the week before, we got Empire Avengers #0. Very awesome. And now this week we got the Fantastic Four one. And like she said, they're all one-shots. They're all fairly self-contained, sort of little prequel mini event books. Why am I talking about all this aside from never missing an opportunity to talk about Fantastic Four? Empire #1 comes next week.
This Wednesday.
You will be able to pick that up and just roll. It's an event book, so grab #1 as if you've never read anything in your life. But if you're a Marvel person, if you want to get the whole kit and caboodle, as they say, these are the books you're going to need.
It's got everybody. It's like a crossover with everybody except for the X-Men, huh?
There will be X-Men. We'll come into this eventually. A little. I have a little more on the X-Men later. Okay, so
what is it exactly?
Here's like 4 books. This is like $15. Let's say you don't want to spend all that, but you kind of want to know what's up with Empire. That's where this guy comes in. This super fancy free magazine.
Free.
Free. My favorite 4. It's my second favorite 4-letter word. Yes, we're giving out these magazines as the sort of prequel to Free Comic Book Summer, which we started last week. But anywho, pick up your free magazine with your shipment or with your curbside pickup this week. We might still have a couple left for the next week's shipments, next week's pickups as well. Read this before you pick up your Empire #10. But I really recommend grabbing some of these other ones. The Fantastic Four one was a lot of fun. There was a lot of talk about this book. I don't want to spoil the big thing, but it's one of those status quo changers. But not like in a bad somebody dies deep dark way, but in a like cool, fun story expansion kind of way, as Fantastic Four should be. And Empire Avengers was a lot of fun too, because everything Avengers is always fun, and that one has Iron Man. I like the events. I like Marvel's events. I've been a big fan of House of M, Secret Invasion, AVX, all that kind of stuff.
There's been a lot of them.
There have been a lot of them. They do one every year or every couple of years. It's always a big deal. There's always 80 crossovers. But I always say you can just read the main book. You can stay in your lane and stay, economically feasible, or you can go hog wild and buy all the crossovers and stuff. And generally speaking, I feel it's kind of worth it. It's usually pretty entertaining, pretty fun. And if you're like me, you and the Kree Skrull War go way, way back. The nature of the Kree and Skrull War
What's up, Josh?
used to be the backbone of the Marvel Universe and continuity and all that kind of thing. And it's fun to see Marvel getting back to all that.
Good times.
So that's kind of my opening spiel for this week. I'm excited about Empire. I'm excited about Marvel's outer space stuff.
Just good to see Marvel coming back to comics. It's been months.
It has been a long time.
Trickling in a comic here and there.
I've got a few other Marvels to talk about, but like I say, that's my opening foray into this week's books. This is a live interactive program, Q&A, questions, comments. We're all here to hang out and talk comics, so don't let us do all the talking. Books you're reading this week, books you're excited about reading next week, whatever it is you're following, throw it out there. Let's talk about them.
So I'm really enjoying Matt Fraction and the Dodsons Adventure Man on Image. So if you are a fan of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, issue 1 kind of starts off that way, with these kind of epic, iconic, heroic figures that are coming together to fight a common foe. But it takes a twist, and I can't talk about it because it'll spoil the story. So you're kind of in this fictional world, and then something all of a sudden happens and turns it upside down. So you're kind of straddling the lines between fiction and not fiction. Is this a story? Is somebody in a story? Is somebody telling a story? And it's like a story within a story. So it's awesome. It's a adventure, fantasy, cool characters, beautiful art by Rachel and Terry Dodson, and I highly recommend it. Again, if you're a fan of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, pick it up and see if I can show you a picture of some of the artwork.
I love the Dodsons. Love them, love them, love them. I buy books with their covers. I buy books where they do the interiors. I buy a lot of things for the art, but Dodson covers I definitely buy.
Yeah. So pick it up.
And Matt Fraction's somebody I talk about a lot.
Matt Fraction's good.
I talk about his Jimmy Olsen. The Jimmy Olsen 12 wraps up next week. Sex Criminals, of course, is a big Image book. He's a fun guy.
Excited to read Spawn. Yep, and 307, 308. Yep, that's right, Marco.
Yeah.
It's a good book. What else you got?
What else do I have? Well, I will stay in the Marvel zone, even though I do have a couple my favorite DCs to talk about a little later. But let me talk about this guy, X-Force, number 10. X-Force. Boy, I almost don't know where to start. So the X-Renaissance, as I've been calling it, I don't call it a reboot. I don't call it a whatever those other words that we throw around in comics. Because even though there's new number ones and new titles but it's not like the universes have never happened before. It's just a renaissance. It's a new era of X-Men has started to take place back with House of X and Powers of 10. And now there's X-Men and X-Force, Excalibur, New Mutants. As it has always been, there's lots of X titles. But each of them has their own creative teams, their own characters, their own plot and theme and purpose. They're each individual titles. So like I said about the Marvel events, you don't have to read everything. You just find the one that has the creative team or the characters that you like and read that book. And if you really like it, then start checking out other ones and read those. X-Force is one I've been following because it's, a little darker than some of the others. It's got Wolverine. It had Colossus and things. So Colossus is my X-Man in lieu of a good Cyclops book. So anyway, X-Force number 10. If you aren't following this one, this is not necessarily a good jump-in point, but I recommend picking up the Black Cat pack of 1 through 6 or grabbing the reprint of issue number 1. And I recommend grabbing the trade paperbacks for all the first volumes of all this X stuff. And like I say, finding the one that you like and get into it. If you are a former X fan, it's a great time to come back. If you've never been an X fan, it's a good time to check it out. Because they're doing a lot of what has always made X-Men fun, what has always made X-Men cool, the thing that Chris Claremont did that made X-Men unique, which is it's really about the personalities. It's about what goes on. It's about the people, the characters. It isn't necessarily that they're out beating up bad guys every issue. It's about the relationships. It's about the struggle of being an X-person in this world that you live in. To kind of wrap it up, there's a bit of an overall theme to all of these books. Like I say, you don't need to read them all to get it, but there is kind of an overreaching theme, an overreaching subplot that each series is digging deeper and deeper into. So it's fun to see the mystery unfold. It's fun to see new team-ups, new creative teams. Like I say, just a great time to come back to X-Books. As an Avengers person, I'm not traditionally the biggest X fan, but whenever they start something new, I jump into it. Like I say, I really like X-Force a lot. Good stories, good art. I don't know much of Benjamin Percy or Joshua Cassara, but yeah, like I say, good stories, good art. Here's some
I like the
Marvel Girl and Beast going on. Like I say, just a good read, and what makes X-Men fun. Dark, but optimistic.
Good times.
Cool stuff going on.
Good times. So the total reverse would be Deceased, Dead Planet.
Deceased.
So not at all optimistic. Very much doom and gloom state of the world. Which
Zombies!
Is a little too close to home, if you know what I'm saying. So I was wondering, what the heck are they going to do? They've already killed everybody off in Unkillables. Everything's dead. Everyone's gone. Like, what's going on? So without spoiling it, how can I say it without spoiling it? Fast forward 5 years into the future. Some people have survived. Some people have gone off planet. And there's a beacon of hope left on Earth. And that beacon of hope, this is really hard to describe without giving anything away. That beacon of hope has a way of reaching out to the survivors on the other planet. So the question is, the folks that have survived and left the deceased planet, are they smart enough or stupid enough to go back to Earth to answer that beacon of hope? Or are they going to stay where they are in their safe haven? So check out number 1 to find out. Super great. So great art. There's going to be 7 issues for this one. So a little bit longer than the last one, which is only about, I think there were 3 shots. Let me see if what I can show you without giving anything away. La 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 la.
That looks safe.
Well, sort of, yeah. So that's a good interior design there. I'm not a huge fan of like the whole zombie genre. And this really isn't zombie, though it kind of is. But the storytelling and the art is just amazing. And so another Tom Taylor, I think he's going to be on my radar now going forward. I might just have to start picking up stuff from him because it's consistently been really, really great stuff. And I know a lot of you guys out there are already reading it and agree. I'm also loving what they're doing in DC. They're doing these ads, these public service announcement ads inside.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I think these are really great. So, yeah, I'm digging it. It's good times.
I like, again, like with Marvel, I like the event things. I particularly like ones like that are a little out of continuity. Again, as a store guy, I like to have things
heart-wrenching. No.
I can refer that don't cross over into anything, or you don't really need much history on. You don't really have to have read the previous DC series to pick that up. It helps, obviously.
This one you kind of do, because this one picks up where the last series left off.
Oh, well, there you go. What's that, the third one?
Deceased, Unkillables, this one, Dead Planet. I think there's another one in there somewhere.
Well, there you go. It's been crazy popular.
It's really good.
I think it has surprised everybody, including DC, how popular and how well received the first one was.
It's very much though like Joss Whedon. If you like his Buffy series, where like every episode there's like some gut wrenching, heart tearing gut punch. He's got that kind of feel to it. So if you're feeling
Detective Chimp,
if you're feeling a little fragile, you might not read that just yet. Hold off.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up a little Archie instead.
Maybe this year we're all a little fragile.
We're all a little fragile. Yeah.
Do you want to keep going?
No.
All right.
Mixing it up.
I will round out my Marvel bit this week by talking about another couple. I have a lot of favorite things. I'm like the gal in Sound of Music. I have a lot of favorite things.
Two of my favorite
and a couple of my favorite things are anything written by Mark Waid, number one. Like this book, Doctor Strange. He's been the scribe of Doctor Strange for a little while.
Man crush on Mark Waid.
I do have a bit of a man crush on Mark Waid because the man is insanely talented and
Kingdom Come on.
Very, very professional. Be on the lookout. I know my man Michael will back me up on this. Be on the lookout for the Irredeemable Omnibus. Before I get into this, they're finally putting Irredeemable into one paperback omnibus. Irredeemable is one of the best superhero comics you're ever going to read.
Are they supposed to do some Netflix thing with that? Did that get picked up, or am I making that up?
I don't think so.
Netflix,
but they sure should. You should do Irredeemable and Incorruptible because they're both awesome. But back to Doctor Strange.
Yes.
So a little like the X-Men, it's in a new series. This is number 5 of a new book.
What's up, Kevin?
What's up, brother? But it's not a reboot. It's not a relaunch. It's just taking the character in a bit of a new direction. Slight spoiler, he got the use of his hands back after 50 years. And so he's back in the operating room. He's a regular doctor again. But of course, that's only a very small part of what's going on. Again, a little like the X-Men. This is just sort of what makes Doctor Strange great. He takes on creepy, cool, mystical villains who have creepy, cool, mystical weapons. And he's also trying to keep his day job.
Does he use his mystical, magical arts in the surgery room?
No, it's kind of about, he was the world's greatest surgeon before all this happened. So he doesn't really need the magic. Yes, Michael, Irredeemable. I knew you'd back me up on that. Anywho, read Doctor Strange. Read anything from Mark Waid. The book is fairly self-contained. Great stories, great art. I'm forgetting though, Kev Walker doing the art on this. Let's see if I can show you. Let's show you the page with the creepy, cool villain I was talking about.
Ew.
Look at those two guys. Mr. Smile and Mr. Sulk.
That's like a Neil Gaiman
It
Neverwhere.
is a little Neverwhere-esque. Can y'all see that? That's cool stuff.
Cray.
And like I say, Doctor Strange fights the kind of guys you don't see in every kind of comic. And Mark Waid delivers, gives you those personalities. He gives you a little, like you mentioned, Joss Whedon. He gives you the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
What's he running now? Isn't it? So he started CrossGen. He was really instrumental in CrossGen.
He was the editor-in-chief of Boom for a while.
Boom.
But that's not what he's doing anymore. I'm not sure what he's masterminding right now. But
what's up, Nicole?
But Mark Waid, if you're watching, or anybody that knows Mark Waid, get him on my show. I have easily an hour of questions and things I'd like to talk about with Mark Waid.
For his man crush. Get him to satiate his man crush.
His flash run to Kingdom Come, to Irredeemable, to the new Doctor Strange. Love me some Mark Waid.
He did the Archie
There's Mark
stuff
Waid.
too.
He's calling me right now.
Didn't he do all the Archie stuff?
Yes, he did the first run of the new Archie stuff because he's multi-talented. And he cares about comics, and he cares about you, the fans. I'm always seeing him working his table and asking fans questions about what they want to see in his books and all that good stuff. So, like I say, read Doctor Strange and take a look around for anything from Mark Waid. Irredeemable, Incorruptible. We've all read Kingdom Come, so I don't have to tell you about that. Since she's helping a customer, I can move on to some of my DC things. Again, just a few Marvels this week. The Empire thing's a big deal. We're going to have a whole lot of Marvel to talk about next week. All the big guns get going again just in time for Empire to come out. We'll get Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Fantastic Four, like I say, all the big Marvel guns. But this week, we got a lot of the big DC guns. And you're coming back just in time to maybe talk a little Batman.
So, yeah, I'll talk Batman, but you might not like me after. So, full spoiler, if you haven't read 93 or 94, turn me off on mute right now. I want to get, if you have read it, I really am interested in your take on how Tinian's run is going. It's so hard to follow Tom King's run. I mean, he set the bar really, really high. And then Tinian comes out of the gate with this new character called Punchline. And, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's check it out. Let's see what she's all about. And then we got her a bit of her origin story in the Joker 80th anniversary. And I read it. I'm like, really? Okay. All right, let's keep going. And so I wasn't really impressed with her as a character. I mean, so if you're going to be a supervillain that can go toe-to-toe with the Joker, you got to be messed up. And you got to be messed up from childhood, messed up in your teens, you're messed up in college. Like, you got to just be, like, have a horribly awful life just to be in his presence and think that it's okay to be like the Joker or to fantasize about the Joker. So that's number one. Number two, this whole designer, I'm rebuilding Gotham City, wonderful idea, a little bit lost, a little bit complicated, hiring Deathstroke and all of these, those world famous assassins to, kill Batman and kill different people in Gotham. Yeah, okay, that's a pretty big, arc that you're working with. But his turn to answer front. So with 94 and part of 93, you see really who's behind the design stuff. And again, here's the big spoiler, so go like this if you haven't read it yet. The Joker is all about chaos. The Joker is all about punching you when you're on the right, when you're looking left. Like, he's not about control. He's not about big, huge plans. He's about how can I disrupt the norm? How can I disrupt the status quo? So the idea of him actually taking over as the designer and infiltrating his plan, implementing his plan doesn't fit right to me. It doesn't feel Joker. It feels something more like the Riddler would do, but he's just, I'm not getting it. I'm not grasping the whole Joker taking over the plan of the designer and orchestrating all of this. It just doesn't feel like him as a character. So, your thoughts, let me know. Am I wrong? Am I being too harsh? What do you guys think? So you can unplug now. No more spoilers. You can unplug. So that's kind of my take on Batman thus far. Tinian's going to be doing, he was supposed to finish at issue 100 with the Joker War, but in actuality, the plans that they had for 101 changed, and he's going to keep going with a whole new arc starting in 101. So we've got 6 more issues to go with the Joker War, so we'll see what happens with that. The art's great. No complaints about the art, but the story I'm a little on the fence about. Okay.
And that's okay. When you're a fan, you can have standards. You don't have to like everything.
Standards.
You don't have to love even the popular stuff. In fact, I think it's important to have standards.
Well, it's a high bar. Tom King and Scott Snyder set very, very high bars. And, when you're going to be adding new characters that are significant, you need to bring your A game. And I think there's a little, maybe because he only had up until issue 100, he didn't have a lot of issues to build. I don't know, but as a writer myself, like, it's a little, okay, that's interesting. That'd be great in like a side book, but for Batman, I don't know.
It needs a little more.
Steve Wyatt.
More time to chew on it.
See, standards are important, Steve.
Well,
what did they have last year?
Standards.
Firefly.
It's and that's certainly true. Like I always say, like with me and Captain America, I'll read anything. I read it. I buy every issue of Captain America. Some I like more than others. Sometimes I think to myself, this isn't as good as the last run. And that's okay. Just because he's your favorite character doesn't mean you have to love everything. But it's also important, I feel. I keep reading anyway. I won't drop a book
I'm not going to stop.
you know, I like to see
Don't get me wrong.
how things
I'm
work
going
out
through
and all
100,
like that.
like for sure.
I love a good Joker story, and I admit, like you say, when you're gonna do a Joker story, the bar is already really high. No matter who you follow, because you're already up against, you know, some of the best stuff there is.
Yeah.
But DC brought all their big guns this week, which was a lot of fun. Like Justice League, another book I talk about all the time. And I love when Justice League comes out. I encourage everybody to read Justice League. Because it has everybody in there. Again, it kind of stays in its lane. You can just drop your $3.99 on Justice League, and you don't have to read every other kind of book. You get your Superman fix, your Batman fix.
Ooh, that's a good. You should show that.
You get cool art like this.
Great. The art has been really, really good.
You always get, you know, the biggest heroes, the biggest villains, some of the best talent in comics. And like I say, you get your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, your Green Lantern, your Flash, your everybody all in one kind of thing. It's like your hero sandwich.
And look, Daniel's quoting you right now. Can you read that?
It's like you taught me, Causey. It's not our job to keep buying them. It's their job to keep us wanting. And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That is a Causeyism.
That's right, Daniel.
It's not your job to fork over the money. It's their job to make it worth it.
That's right.
And to that point, again, I think Justice League makes it worth it every time. It's a fun read. It's also a book you can give to people. It's a great introduction to comics. It's a great reintroduction to comics. It's a great book for young readers. It's a great book for just about anybody.
How
young? I always say mainstream comics are PG-13.
So 13 and up.
I mean, I would be comfortable giving Justice League to a kid younger than that, but as I'm not a parent or a teacher or anyone that is responsible for children, so
don't take his word for it.
So don't take my word for it. That's why I just sort of like to blanket it at PG-13. So your 10-year-old, when he gets scarred for life like I did when I was 10, you can't blame me for it. But before I won't go too deep. I'll let you get to your next thing. But just to say, it's a great DC week for me because these three books are my longtime, always DC books. I know. Justice League, which I already mentioned. Superman, the Bendis run of Superman. I'm long time Superman
What's
fan.
happening with that? Is he going strong? Is he ending? Is he moving to something else? What's happening?
He's slowly wrapping it up. He had made some comments that he was done, and then the internet went crazy with speculation. And so the next day he's like, wait, no, I mean, I'm finished. I'm writing the end of the story, but I'm still like a year away because Bendis works and does his job. So it's like 24 scripts out. So no, it's not over just yet. The end of his run has not been determined, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I just wanted to mention that Justice League, Superman, and Green Lantern are my three longest, favoritist DC books. Yep. When you're talking about comics, favoritist is totally a word.
It is a word. Well, and it's got our Black Cat friend, Liam Sharp.
Yes.
Thanks to Steve for hooking that up for us, doing the art show. Show a page from that.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes, Liam Sharp is
awesome
just incredible.
Awesome
just incredible.
Sauce.
Awesome
sauce.
Let me see. What's a good?
Ooh, so colorful.
It is. It's not quite as. He's going for something stylistic in this issue, so it's not necessarily
really
the best example.
That's good. That's very Kirby.
I was going to say, he's going for a kind of Giffen-esque, Kirby-esque sort of
Let him read it. That's total Kirby right there. Right, Michael? Come on.
So, anyway, this series has been a lot of fun. I'll just finish it off then, I guess. What I always loved about Green Lantern when I was a kid, you know, every Marvel comic takes place in New York, which is fine. And every DC comic takes place in some city, and that's fine. But Green Lantern and Superman, at least in the 70s, were always happening in space. Just like Star Wars. And so I always read Superman and I always read Green Lantern because I'm a sci-fi kid and I loved, wacky aliens and stuff like that. And both of these books, a little like my theme has been all day, are great, kind of keeping it classic. Green Lantern is a modern version of what has always made the book fun. He's just out there being a space cop. solving space crimes and taking on evil space aliens. And it was fun when I was 10, and it's fun when I'm 50. Great stories, great art, great sci-fi comics are always fun. And the second volume of the previous run came out this week too.
Oh, yeah.
So you can buy the 2 trades of season 1 and then get started with season 2 in floppy form. Great time to be a Green Lantern fan. Grant Morrison, Liam Sharp. What more do you need?
So we should talk a little bit about the DC 5G that isn't happening. Just because it's affecting, I think, the Batman run, I'm sure a lot of other runs.
Well, since it's not happening and they're undoing all of the announcements, there's almost not much to talk about.
Well, so like I just read today on Bleeding Cool how Luke Fox, who's Lucius's son, Batwing, was supposed to become the new Batman in the Batman main book. They're supposed to like age out, I guess, a lot of the main characters and replace them with younger versions, which not going to happen. So I think they've had to undo a lot of the work that a lot of writers have been working on for the last probably 6 months. Because this stuff takes a long time to produce. There's a long tail to getting this stuff out there.
Free Comic Book Day was supposed to be
the
impetus for the whole thing. They were going to put out their Free Comic Book Day book, and it was going to lay the groundwork, like Free Comic Book Day does, was going to lay the groundwork for everything that was going to be going on next year. With the AT&T acquisition and the release of Dandidio and all these other things, all the plans changed sort of overnight. All of that got scrapped. Including the Free Comic Book Day book, which I think ended up in this week's Flash trade paperback, but isn't obviously going to have the impact that that was sort of why I peppered it in there. That's my minor segue.
Do you want to put that curbside thing out real quick?
Is it that time?
Yes.
Sure.
And we can start talking about Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, so the 5G thing was supposed to be their Free Comic Book Day, but then the whole thing got scrapped. So now there is no 5G thing. There is no, I don't know what the DC Free Comic Day, Free Comic Summer book is. But you're keeping your Batman, you're keeping all your classic heroes, etc.
So he's putting a curbside appointment bag out. So while he does that, real quick, this isn't a book that came out last week. Or maybe it was. Resistance. So from AWA Resistance, J.M. Straczynski is writing it. This guy must be psychic because it's all about the pandemic, yet it came out March 1st, which means he had to have been writing it back in October of last year. And it's so eerie how like perfectly, exactly it mirrors what we're going through right now. So it's way worse than what we're going through, luckily. So it's definitely fiction. It's not based on the current pandemic. It's just a coincidence that he's prolific and he's writing this, ahead of its time. But it's a fascinating look at how he envisions society going through a pandemic and how really true to his vision it's become reality. And so it's fascinating to look at that in hindsight. So Resistance 1 and 2's out by J.M. Straczynski.
And a little bit like Mark Waid, read anything from Straczynski.
Yeah.
Read Resistance, then read Rising Stars.
A little too close to home right now, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, as I've said many times on the show, that's one thing that I like about science fiction. I like when they talk about art reflects life, and sometimes with science fiction, that's like you say, strikes a little too close to home, and it gives you maybe a little more to think about than you might have liked.
That's right. So let's talk about Free Comic Day. So
Free Comic Book Summer.
Free Comic Book Summer. So it's all okay. This is me being. It's all kind of messed up. So because of the pandemic and because everything stopped and restarted and stopped and restarted, we're getting books trickled in one at a time, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time each week. Started last week with Firepower. But it's really starting to kick off this week on the 15th, and it's going to go through September. So each week we'll have different free comics to give out. You can look at freecomicbookday.com for which books are coming out when. we're also going to put those in our newsletter. The short version is, if you got a pickup, if you got an online order, you will automatically get that week's Free Comic Book Day book and previous weeks if we still have them. If you don't have any orders, you have no plans on buying anything, that's totally fine. You can book a Sunday appointment, which is under our events page on our black-cat-comics.com site, and book a Free Comic Book Day pickup, and we'll have a a package of stuff ready for you then. So it's a little bit all over the place. Some of the books I think have changed, like DC stuff. I think they've had to rethink some things. Firepower was a part of the Free Comic Day list, and then it went away, and then they released it early because their book came out. So it's all a little bit of a jumble.
Wonky, 2020 is wonky.
Hey,
it's that kind of year.
Par for the course. So check it out. Like again, this week there's a lot. This week I'll look it up and tell you.
Quite a few. And so, as she said, if you have any kind of order, if we're shipping it out to you, if it's your subscription stuff, if you got a curbside, your free books will already be in there. If you don't have an order, if there's nothing for you to buy this week, then book a curbside for Sunday, and we'll have your free stuff there waiting for you.
Yes.
Whoever you are out there, get your free books. Pick up something, try a comic, get your free stuff with your order, or just book that curbside for Saturday and come by and get your free stuff. Even if you have no interest in reading those books, get them, read them, give them away. Help us create new fans. We always do the heck out of Free Comic Day. We do the most for Free Comic Book Day that we can, because it's the best opportunity we have to show you guys all kinds of comics that you're not currently reading, and to show the new folks all of what's out there in the world of comics. And I beg and plead you all to help us in this endeavor, to pick up all this free stuff and spread the love. Give them to friends and family, coworkers, all that good stuff.
So far, the only Free Comic Day book that's come out is Firepower, which we have behind Doctor Strange there. You want to grab
that's Firefly, but
no, it's behind Doctor Strange. And so this week we get Power Rangers Slayer, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, X-Men 1. Ooh, so it's the X-Men Free Comic Day book
get your X-Men Free Comic Day book.
Captain Canuck and Captain Battle, Asterix, Weird Books, no idea. And that's it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books coming in this week. And the Marvel one is the X-Men.
Read that X-Men book. Like I was saying about X-Force, you're a DC person, you're an indie person, whoever you are, give that X book a try. It's free, it's fun, it's cool, it's superhero, it's sci-fi, it's just maybe 1% of horror mixed in there. Some horror. It's fun stuff. As she said, this was the Firepower one we've been giving away.
Yeah.
Robert Kirkman and I always forget his first name, Chris Samney.
And it's a teen-focused book, so it's not a mature reader.
Fun stuff. And then, like we said, we've been giving out this one this week. It's the Marvel Universe Empire book. Free stuff. Who doesn't love free comics? And there's going to be different ones every week. So like she said, check the newsletter. Check fcbd.com to see what the books are that week.
It's freecomicbookday.com.
Sure. I think it works if you just type in FCBD. And like I say, get that stuff, read that stuff, treat yourself, turn yourself onto a new book, turn your friends and family, your enemies, your arch villains onto to some free books as well.
Can we talk about Comic-Con?
As I said about Free Comic Book Day, we've always made a big deal about Free Comic Book Day because that's what we do. We're about reading comics. We're about promoting and pushing the reading of comics, and we're about making the biggest deal out of big deals that we can. Yes. Which brings us to many years ago, the Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con, the con with too much name. Many years ago, we started the Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con because there came a time when it became impossible to get into Comic-Con. Everybody wanted to go to Comic-Con and you couldn't get a ticket. So what do? You call up your local comic shop and you say, I can't get a ticket to Comic-Con.
have your ticket?
So
can we buy your ticket?
They do. They would
the
ask
time.
me for my ticket, and I'd be like, how do I politely tell you? Hell no.
Yes, Michael. If you've got a curbside appointment, you'll get automatically the free comic books for that week.
Yes. So we started the pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. We wanted to give you the Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con.
That's like The Office, the Michael Scott's like run for a cure, the rabies run.
We wanted to give you a little taste of the things that go on at the big show. Yeah. We wanted to do our little small town mom and pop shop version of the things you see at Comic-Con. So we did VIP preview night, and we have movie night, and
we tried Masquerade a couple times.
We tried the cosplay events, and no one ever showed up. But anyway, so we've done this every year for years and years and years, and it's always lots of fun. At least 10 years we've been doing movie nights and trivia contests and everything that we can think to do.
Sales. Wait, Causey-Con. You had a little
Causey-Con. We do Causey-Con where I show you like some of my personal best stuff and pictures of things I've done over the years. Some people have really enjoyed Causey-Con.
Yes.
So then came 2020 and the pandemic and the lockdown and the pre-apocalyptic world that we're living in. So what do? We can't have an event. We can't have, with social distancing, we can't do the swap meet, and without this, we can't do VIP night because you can't all fit in here. So we thought long and hard and came up with a bunch of events, and we're doing Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con. Even though there's not a Comic-Con, we're bringing you Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. So why don't you tell the nice folks at home some of the special events that we've got cooked up for them?
I would love to. So Wednesday is going to be VIP subscriber sale day. So what we're doing is subscribers, we will email you a specific code so that you can get 20% off anything on the online store, excluding new this week stuff and excluding stuff that's already on sale. And it's going to be all day long. So starting at midnight all the way till 11:59 p.m. Wednesday the 15th, you will get a special code for 20% off anything on the online store. And I'm working hard to put a bunch of stuff up there. So there'll be more and more stuff up there between now and Wednesday. So that's Wednesday. Thursday is Black Cat Classics. You want to talk about
Black Cat Classics? Black Cat Classics is going to be yet another live program because I know the world is just dying to see more of my face on the internet. So we're doing Black Cat Classics, where we will have this back wall adorned with all kinds of awesomeness in different price ranges, and then you're going to be buying them right there, right out of my hands. They're going to be books that you haven't seen, books that aren't on the site right now, aren't in the store right now. You've been seeing some of these live comic auctions. It's not really going to be an auction. We're going to have $100 books, $50 books, $25 books, $10 books. And like I say, we're just going to be hanging out, talking about awesome books like Mr. Miracle, like New Gods #1, like some all-time greats, some keys, and some cool vintage comics. Basically, I wanted to create a Comic-Con booth. You know, you go to a booth at Comic-Con, and there's a back wall that has all kinds of awesome books on it. You look back there, and you're like, ooh, how much is that Luke Cage #10? And the guy says, oh, it's just $10. You're like, oh, I'll take it. And so that's what we're doing Thursday. We're doing Black Cat Classics live.
So what and that's going to be at 6 o'clock live on Facebook, and we will try to do live on YouTube as well. And so what we're going to do is, hopefully, this is the goal, is to put all those books on the online store, and but hide them. And so the minute he starts going at 6 o'clock, then we'll make those books available. So then first come, first serve.
Yeah. So watch the show. Be the first person to pick that book up before somebody beats you to it.
And Jeff Castro, it was called the Customer Swap Meet.
Yep, the Black Cat Swap Meet. And that's fun. Like I say, it's a little like this, but with vintage comics. We get together on Saturday. We talk about the new books for Black Cat Classics. We're going to talk a lot about the old books and sell some old books and add to your collection.
Previews of things you might be putting up there to whet their appetite?
No, because they're in the other room. I have some, as I said, some Mr. Miracles. I've got some great Black Jack Kirby stuff, Black Cat classics. Got some great Batman stuff, some great Kirby classics, some great Marvel stuff. Let's see. What's the? I don't want to tease my gems. You'll just have to tune in Thursday and check it out. Like I say, going to change up the whole wall. Going to have all kinds of new books, some great books. So tune in and check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But wait.
There's more. Order now, and you'll also receive
Friday. Super excited. So Imonic is going to be teaching a live course via Zoom and Facebook. We'll figure out all the different Zooms and things. So starting at 6 o'clock on Friday, he's going to walk us through basic comic book layouts and inking. So from the rough layouts to the inking stage. And so that's going to take place 6 o'clock on Friday the 17th. Anyone can join. If you've got little ones, it's more geared towards teenagers and up, but any and all folks are welcome to check it out and try to draw along. That'll be fun.
I think I will be trying to draw along because I have no artistic talent whatsoever. And so when you see me struggling horribly and drawing something sad, it will make you feel better about what you're trying to draw, as we're all trying to keep up with Emonic's amazing talent.
I think the only screen we will see is Emonic, so you don't have to worry.
Oh, well, there you go. Then
unless you want to show and tell.
I won't have to embarrass myself, but I will be playing along at home.
So I'm really excited for that. And then so Saturday we're going to be doing this.
The Comic Shop Talk Live.
Yes. You might need to be solo because I'm teaching that day. So we'll figure something out. But the goal would be to talk about convention tales because we've got a lot of them.
I don't have any problem talking for 60 minutes. So it will just be up to you all to throw the questions out there.
The only reason I'm here is because he doesn't know how to work the computers. That's it.
That's not true. You're the brains. I'm the one that's not the brains.
Any other chances to get the free comic book for tomorrow? Yeah, there isn't one for tomorrow, John, except for the one from last week, Firepower. We didn't get any free comic books this week. We literally don't have them yet. So the ones that are coming on the 15th will be here physically on the 15th. So you will get these. Plus, John, you ordered didn't you order the free comic box?
Let's make everybody jealous really quick. Let me show you what my man John here is the only one receiving, because I went to order them and they were all gone, and he was the only one who pre-ordered one. This is the Funko Free Comic Book Day mystery box. Hey, what's in there? Well, there's a mystery pop figure. There's all kinds of things in here pertaining to a mystery character. And so John Paul took his chances and got something awesome. And this is really cool. And I'll bet teeth that these are starting to show up on eBay for money because, like I say, when they made the announcement, all of a sudden there was a huge demand for these.
So you'll get that
JP,
in your pickup tomorrow, John.
Book your curbside. Come by and get your cool Funko mystery box. That thing's awesome, and I'm kind of dying to know what's in there. Y'all can now if you want. Nah, I wouldn't do that to you, man. I wouldn't do that to you. Besides, I like the idea of everybody watching, sweating it out, and wondering what's in that box. They're all Googling it right now. What's in that box? Okay. So, yeah, if you come by, if you book tomorrow, anybody that books for tomorrow will get these guys. And then as you book next Sunday, you'll get all the other stuff. Now,
Sunday the 19th is a whole bunch of stuff. So Sunday 19th.
The last day of the event.
Is your
Matchbox versus Hot Wheels.
If you guys have not seen that, you have to check it out. It is hysterical and awesome. So you want to tell the good folks what that's all about?
What, the race?
Yeah.
Every Sunday, 2 p.m., Matchbox versus Hot Wheels. Tune in for 2020's only live sporting event where none of the contestants are at risk of COVID-19.
I just can't. Okay, so because we're getting a bunch of the free comic books this week, we're going to have a bunch, like I said, what it was, that's 5 or 6 books that we'll have ready for pickups on Sunday. But you have to select a curbside appointment for Sunday if you want those books, unless you already have a curbside earlier in the week. And then we're also, we've got a sales section on our online store that we're rapidly putting more and more stuff up. So we've got stuff for $1. We've got stuff for nearly $0. So check out the sale collection on our online store. So we're putting more and more stuff up there for sale on Sunday.
It's kind of true when you think about it. We have a book up there that's a quarter, and whatever 25%, 20% off of a quarter is,
well, we're not doing
it's very cheap.
20% off.
Well, whatever it is, a 25-cent comic on sale is still pretty cheap.
Maybe we will.
So that's Black Hat Comics, Rocky Milpita's pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. Like I say, every year we try and come up with different events for a whole week-long thing that sort of emulates Comic-Con. Subscribers, get your VIP code. Take advantage of that on Wednesday. Yep. Everybody tune in Thursday and watch Black Hat Classics. And let's hang out and talk about some awesome vintage Kirby books.
Michael will like that.
And then tune in for the art class. Like I say, young folks, old folks, anybody, wherever your talent range is. Just watching a professional artist work is always really fun. And again, another part of Comic-Con. If I had a dime for every time I've stood at a table and just watched somebody like J. Scott Campbell draw for somebody. We saw Bruce Timm that one time. We just walked by and here's Bruce Timm drawing a Batgirl. And I just stood there and watched him draw a Batgirl because when are you going to get a chance to do that? Well, next Friday you can do that with our man Mnemonic.
I just had an idea.
What's that?
What if people want to dress up and send in pictures of them in cosplay? And if for everyone that does and tags us, they get something free and cool.
I love free and cool.
Like a virtual masquerade ball.
There you go.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, cosplayers. Next Wednesday to Sunday, send us your best cosplay shots.
Tag Black Cat Comics 176 or just post it straight on our Facebook page or Instagram, and you will get something free.
Keep it clean. We're an all ages Wednesday. Just gotta throw it out there. We're an all ages sort of facility.
Cover all the bits that need to be covered.
Kids watch this stuff, so. But yeah, that's super fun, and that's of course another big part of con.
And I'm really excited for what San Diego is going to do this year. So yes, Michael, they're doing a Comic-Con at home this year. I don't know if that means everyone can go.
Yep.
So there's no tickets or anything.
Correct.
Oh, that's cool.
If you have internet access, you can go to Comic-Con.
That's cool. Oh, you know what I'm also excited about this week? Sandman, the audiobook, the audio play, is going live on the 15th. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
That is big.
I just spaced the actor's name who is Sandman. Help me out.
Voiceover.
Yeah, help me out, guys.
Somebody out there knows.
He was the guy that did Unbreakable. Unbreakable. I can dress as a comic book guy. Yes, Steve.
There you
Especially
go.
if you've got the Hawaiian shirt. That is classic comic book guy.
Yeah. So you kids fancy yourselves experts, eh?
Oh my God. All the time.
So yeah, we love Comic-Con. We've always loved Comic-Con. We miss Comic-Con like you do. We miss the local shows. We miss the big shows. So like every year, we're just trying to bring a little bit of the Comic-Con to you guys. So tune in, participate, get involved with all that because we do it for you. And I think it's going to be fun.
I think Steve and I think Imanic are going to have booths for the Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. So make sure you check out Steve Wyatt's. Is it Big Wow, Steve? What's the name of your booth so people can find it? Same thing, Imanic. Imanic should just be Imanic. But Steve's booth might have a different name. And then, Steve, we're going to get you on a show. If not next week, maybe the week after, but we'll be in touch and nail down a date for sure. Steve Wyatt, and in case you guys don't know, founder of, MouseCon, of Big Wow. He's got a huge Disney collection, East Bay Comic Con, Bakersfield Con. Like he does all the conventions that you know and love. This is the man behind it. So we'll try to get him in for a show in the next week or two.
Big Wow Comic Fest 1300 is the San Diego Comic Con booth. So is that part of the Comic-Con from home thing?
Yeah.
Like they can shop your booth
yes,
from
James
home?
McAvoy. Thank you, Nicole. That was eating at my brain, the insides of my brain. James McAvoy is the voice for Morpheus. Sorry. Yes. So apparently you can create an online booth, and maybe it's like a Shopify store. I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, because like I say, we love Comic-Con, and we miss the whole thing, and so we want to bring as much of that to you guys as possible, because it's July, and that's what July is always about. It's about conventions. It's about connecting to the comic book community, which is the point of the whole show in the first place. Synergy. Good times.
Good times. Fun times.
So as we begin to wrap it up, anybody have questions about next week's event? Anybody have questions, comments about free comic book day, free comic book Sundays, free comic book summer?
Curbside virtual appointments.
As we said, your free books will come with your curbside and with your shipments, or book a curbside for Sunday and come get your free stuff.
And again, if you miss the store, if you miss this guy right here, book a virtual shopper experience appointment where you get him all to yourself, you in the store, all to yourself for 15 minutes, where he walks around with a little iPad, shows you everything that we have, answers your questions.
Doesn't cost anything. You
totally
don't have to buy anything. Nope. We just hang out, answer your questions. We talk comics. You get 15 minutes of dedicated time with your comic shop and your comic book guy.
Without the mask.
So, again, if you have those questions, or for whatever reason, book yourself a virtual shopping experience. Let's hang out, much like we're hanging out now.
Yeah.
Because we do everything we can to keep you connected to the comic book community.
And to bring a little levity in some dark times.
Yeah, that's really what this is all about. There's lots of places where you get your news, your this or that, your the other thing, but you come here Saturday, 2 o'clock, to get away from all that. Your comic book store is always your place to escape reality, get to a different Earth where there's just heroes and villains and adventure.
Unless you read Resistance, in which case you're just right back in there.
So I guess that kind of wraps us up. Like I say, tune in next week for all kinds of great stuff. Tune in Wednesday for the new comic video, and that will be the beginning of pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con. Check out all of our awesome events. Tune in next Saturday as we get back together for Comic Shop Talk Live. Tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m., live on Facebook for Matchbox versus Hot Wheels.
You gotta do the voice. Do it.
Or Matchbox versus Hot Wheels.
I can't take it. All right,
shop at black-cat-comics.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support.
See you next time. Bye.